Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining from. I am HR Funk, and welcome to my pre-Thanksgiving live stream. I have been looking forward to this live stream all day, and as always, this is going to be the show that is totally dominated by all of you. There is no script, there is no agenda. This is just a chance for us to get together and have a good time and have some dialogue back and forth. And I know we've already got quite a few of you here. I saw Elaine's Domain here, Rich Powers is here, KD Cowboy. Somewhere in here is Rookie Spartan. I've lost him for a minute. Art Grote is here. Rabbi, how you doing, Rabbi? So thanks to all of you for joining. And once again, just like I've been doing before, if you see the crawl down here at the bottom of the screen going across, I am taking guests. I've really been enjoying this. I think it adds a new dimension to the live stream show. So if you would like to join the live stream, shoot me an email. And the way this works is I will forward you back. As soon as I get the email, I'll return an email to you, a link to the show. You click on that link and it brings you here, and then I can let you in. If you choose to have your camera activated, we'll do a split screen and everyone is going to be able to see you. I don't want anybody to be shocked. Or you can keep your camera turned off and just join by audio, and we can still have that dialogue back and forth. So if you'd like to be a guest on the show, be sure to email me at the link or at the email address here, and I will send you that link. And I saw some other folks join in here. Red Ranger Edwards is here. Hello to you. Bixby 9797 says, howdy, Mr. Funk. Howdy to you. Tony York is here. Josh Twyman. How you doing, Josh? Rabbi, potential guest. Pants are off. Yes. You're only going to be visible from the waist up, but as always, if you join as a guest, please make sure you keep everything family oriented. I've never had a problem with anyone yet that's joined the show. Everybody has always been very well behaved. So I want to keep it that way. I don't want to have a situation where finally I've got to ban somebody or take you out of the show because of some sort of inappropriate comments or what have you. But by all means, anybody that wants to join the show and have a chance to talk back and forth, I would love to have you. And I am drinking some coffee this evening. And we should have some people joining in tonight, especially from the northeast of my area here, because it's the first significant snowfall of the year. I think a lot of you are probably snowed in for the first time. We got some snow here, not too bad, an inch or so out there on the ground, but not nearly as much as some of the folks got up farther to the north and east of my location. Red Ranger Edwards, I'm wanting to invest in a 30 carbine. Any tips? My first tip would be hurry. The 30 carbines, I want a 30 carbine myself, and I don't have one. And the price of those things keeps going up and up and up, and the availability keeps going down and down and down. Now, there are some commercial versions of the 30 carbine these days that are out there. If you want one just for shooting, take a look at those. But I would really like to have one of the historic World War II era carbines. So, and those things are getting harder and harder to find. And like I said, the price keeps going up. Dan AZ says, Semper to you, Dan. Paul, a.k.a. Headhog, says, hello, Howard. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well this evening. Thank you. Dan Guertin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says, hey, from the Carolinas. Which Carolina? We are going to be down there actually next weekend in South Carolina. My wife is forcing me to go down for something called the Carolina Clemson football game. I'm not familiar with this thing, but apparently it's a big deal down there, and I'm going to be going down with my wife and my daughter to attend this game down in Clemson, South Carolina. Larry Thompson is here. Hello to you, Larry. That's how families are made. Rabbi is always good for those humorous comments. Josh Twyman says, doing good, relaxing before drill this weekend. Playing Fallout New Vegas. Okay. I hope you have a good time with that, and I hope you have a great drill. Taticus Legion 78 is here. Hello to you. Armored Ghost says the coffee is extra iron. Nope, just plain old coffee. That's all I have this evening. Some of you guys are talking back and forth to each other already. KD Cowboy, anyone have any interest in dishes you serve for Thanksgiving besides the usual turkey and stuffing? Yes, pecan pie. I'm a sucker for pecan pie. So that's a must. I realize it's not really a dish, but it's a dessert. And by the way, I hope you're all prepared for Thanksgiving and all of your family is getting ready to congregate and have a great time. So happy Thanksgiving early for everyone. Frank Butter says, "Howdy, Chief. The football game sounds fun." Yeah, I hope so. I've never been to this before. I'm really not a college football fan because I never went to college, but my wife did. She went to the University of South Carolina. My daughter is currently attending the University of South Carolina, so apparently that's the side of the stadium we're going to sit on. I have to make sure I cheer for the right team so I don't get beat up. Rabbis in the greatest country on earth, Texas. Rookie Spartan patrolling the Mojave Desert almost makes you wish you were almost makes you wish for an HR live stream. Justin, hi HR. Any thoughts on the new Colt King Cobra? My local store has one for $869. That actually doesn't sound like a bad price. Usually those things are even more expensive than that. I would say if it's something you're interested in, that's not a bad price. I don't have any personal experience with them myself. I've not shot one. Not entirely sure I've even handled one, but I know they have a pretty good reputation. So, yeah, if it's something you think you want to take the plunge on, you can let me know what you think of it. James Wilkinson is here. Hello, James. Glad you made it. And Bixby 9797 says, looks like he's talking to Dan Gwerton. 25 this morning, much colder than expected in the home state of Vermont. That's probably about what we had here. We were probably in the high 20s this morning when I woke up. Josh Twyman, going to be cold. Have to do the PT test. I can remember doing some PT tests in cold weather, so I feel your pain, but I'm sure you'll do fine. And Kurt Schmidt says, "Hi everyone, SIG 320 M1718 is fire. I like mine. I like my M18 a lot. So I'm glad you like yours too." Rabbi, I'm not going to repeat that. Oh my. Anyway, ALU Ministries is here. Thanks for joining. And Frank Butta carries a King Cobra. It says it's excellent. So there's a recommendation for you on the Colt King Cobra. Taticus Legion 78, almost done reading the novel Shootist, which was made into John Wayne's last movie. I've never read the book. I think that's my favorite John Wayne movie, or at least my favorite John Wayne Western. But I've never read the book. So you have to let me know how it is. Very good, but very depressing. Ooh, I don't want to be depressed. William Burdett, Chief, have you ever shot a Langdon Elite Beretta, Elite Tactical Beretta? I've not shot one. I've handled them. I think I've told the story before in live streams that I met Ernest Langdon at the NRA annual meeting a few years ago, and he was showing me his version of the Elite Tactical 92. It was really cool. Had a great trigger, and he's an awfully nice guy. I would love to get one of those things in to shoot sometime, but they are not inexpensive. So if I get one, you'll see it, but I've got to save up my pennies for one of those. Tony York says, "I want an Anaconda, but spent all my extra money on some acreage and a cabin in Missouri, so it's on hold." Well, at least you got some land, and Missouri's a cool state, so that's good at least. Kurt Schmidt, it's 25 degrees here in Ohio. Yeah, I haven't looked at the temperature lately, but that sounds about right. Larry Thompson got lots of snow there in Georgian Bay, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, you guys are even farther north yet, so I'm sure you did get some. Bixby 9797 have a Colt Gold Cup, bought in college 30 years ago. What do you think of them? I've never shot a Gold Cup. I've always wanted one. I like the Gold Cup. It's a cool pistol. The Colt 1911 I bought earlier this year is the match target. I think that's what it's called. And I really like that pistol. I would love to have a gold cup too. So I hope you're able to get one, and I hope it's as good as I think they always would be. Chase Kelly is here. How you doing, Chase? Rabbi's saddest movie in history, Graveyard of the 50s. It's all about some children who survive Hiroshima and die of malnutrition. Never saw that one, but it sounds like a rough movie to watch. Stephen Detweiler was looking at a Springfield 1911. Bring it over here. Look at a Springfield 1911 mil-spec A1. Can't find, but 1911 Garrison for $779 is available. I don't really see the difference. I think the Garrison is a couple of steps up from the mil-spec. I think it has a couple of features that the mil-spec doesn't have. But $779 sounds like a pretty good price. If you see one for that price, you might want to jump on it. The mil-specs, I think, are a little less. I think they're down in the $600 range. Katie Cowboy, were those two rockets fired from the Ukraine into Poland, trying to start World War III? I don't know. I haven't heard much about that today. When it first happened, there was a lot of news about it, and then it just sort of disappeared. It's one of those stories that we're not hearing much about. Uh-oh. Rabbi says, HR Funk, well, if Mimi won't buy you a gold cup, maybe Rachel. That's right. I'm going to have to see what Rachel will do for me for a Christmas present. Which, by the way, is something I love needling Mimi about. Whenever she says something about whatever she doesn't want to do something or whatever, I'll say, well, I never get that from Rachel. And then I'm usually in trouble. Chase Kelly, you really want a solid double action revolver like a 686 or a GP100. So which do you like best? I'm a big fan of the 686. I don't think I've ever shot a GP100. I've shot other Ruger revolvers, but of the two, I prefer the 686. Roy Kiefer, for what it's worth, I've long loved the Springfield TRP. It's really good. I've had mine for nearly 20 years, and I'm not sure they're making that still. I think the TRP, the range officers, some of them have been taken out of the lineup, and they put in. They have similar 1911s nowadays, but I don't think they have the exact same ones. Heard Alec Baldwin's behind the trigger. I've heard that too. Josh Schweinman, does anyone know where I can get a good Smith & Wesson 915 magazine? Yes, you can get them from Mekgar. Mekgar is still making them. They're the same magazines that fit the 5906, 5903, 5904. Any of the full-size 59 series will fit the 915 and work just fine. And they're fairly reasonable from Mekgar. Elaine's domain, ale is behind most things. Okay. A Monk 93 says, hello from Lincoln, Nebraska. Thinking about a J-frame 638 for pocket carry. And that's a great option. I've talked before. A friend of mine has I'm not sure his is a 638. It's got the alloy frame, but it's a nickel J-frame bodyguard. And he absolutely loves it. He's had it for years. It's hard to go wrong with a J-frame, truthfully. Chase Kelly had a GP100, took a whitetail at 35 yards. Highly recommend that revolver, and I'm sure you did. And looks like I got some emails coming in. Again, if anybody wants to join as a guest, be sure to email me down here going across the bottom of the screen, hrfunkzoominternet.net, and I will get you a link to join as a guest. A Monk 93, the Ronin 10mm 1911 is neat. And I don't know if anyone saw the community post that I put up yesterday, but you are going to be seeing a Ronin on the channel coming up soon. I'm not going to give away too many details on it, but I am looking forward to that review, and I hope you all like it when it comes up. By the way, tomorrow's video is going to be I think it's a very enjoyable video. It's one that I put a lot of time in. I've actually been recording segments of it over the last several weeks. And I finally edited it all together into a video that's going to go up tomorrow. So any of you that can join, we're going to have the premiere live chat starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And we'll hopefully have the usual gang involved in that. And anybody new is always welcome to join in the chat. A couple of programming announcements for coming up next week. I'm not going to have a Wednesday video next week. Next week's midweek video is actually going to come out on Tuesday. I think a lot of people are probably going to be traveling on Wednesday and getting ready for Thanksgiving and everything else. So I'm going to release that a day early. So the midweek video will be on Tuesday morning next week. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to have a Saturday video or not, because I think a lot of people are probably still going to be traveling, and the people that have Thanksgiving, with one side of the family on Thanksgiving Day are probably going to be having the Thanksgiving with the other side of the family on Saturday and doing things like that. I'm going to be out of town at that football game that I talked about. So I don't know. The jury's kind of out. I'm not entirely sure there's going to be a Saturday video. I might just have the Tuesday video, skip Saturday, and then start off the following week with the video schedule again. So if you don't see a video come up for Saturday, you'll know that I decided not to do one. And now I've completely lost where I was over here. Kurt Schmidt, my wife loves the 357 Magnum. Good for her. Rookie Spartan, if you could only have one gun for concealed carry, what would it be? Wow. One gun for concealed carry. If it could only be one, it would be the one that I can carry most often, regardless of anything else. It would be my J-frame Smith & Wesson 342 with the alloy frame and the titanium cylinder, because it is so light and so easy to carry, regardless of what kind of clothing I'm wearing or anything else. That's my one that I can carry in the middle of the summer. Wearing shorts, I can carry it in the winter. It is the easiest carrying firearm I have. So if I could only carry one, it would be that one, because it's the one that I can carry all the time, regardless of how I'm dressed or anything else. And Tony York says, why go J when there's an N? You're losing me there. You might be talking to somebody else. Rabbi says, I'm about to spend $4,000 on a Beretta. Over under. Someone once told me skeet shooting wasn't expensive. Some of those shotguns, as you just pointed out, can be very expensive. So I hope you really like that shotgun when you get it. Elaine's Domain, if I drop to a 9mm, it's a staccato or better. There's another firearm that is not cheap. I've been seeing those lately, and they are definitely up there price-wise. Elaine's Domain, PSA versus the Quigley. Rabbi says, no, we don't agree, HR Funk. You produce your videos as normal. I'm getting commands from Rabbi. Yes, Rabbi, sir. I would not want to have you upset with me, but still, I might alter my production schedule next week. Rabbi says I can brag as well as the next guy. Rabbi says, I've never had a problem with it. Just too afraid to blemish it. I can imagine that would be the case. ALU Ministry. So the only gun you would carry is a revolver. You're starting to grow in your understanding of the best firearms. I'm praying that you will come to full enlightenment. Yeah, truthfully, I mean, that's the one, that little J-frame that is so light. It's something like 11 ounces or something like that. That's the one I can carry no matter what. So if I only could have one, that would be the one. And trying to figure out if Stephen Detweiler is leaving us. Somebody's leaving us. Oh, yep, Steve is leaving us. So have a great night, Steve. Glad you made it. Thanks for participating, and we'll see you the next time around. So no takers yet to be a guest on the show. And that's too bad, because I always like it when people come on. If you have any inkling to do that, you are definitely welcome. Anyone here can discuss more or less anything you want to. Like I said, just make sure you keep it family oriented and above board and all that. But if you want to join, definitely send me an email and we'll get you on here. Let me just double check and make sure I haven't gotten an email that I didn't see for some reason, because that does happen sometimes. And no, looks like we don't have anybody that sent me an email that slipped by without me seeing it. So I'll go back over here to the chat feed. Rookie Spartan says the real reason for no video next Saturday is HR needs to have a second Thanksgiving with Rachel. Shh. I'm going to take the opportunity to grab another swig of coffee here. By the way, we're coming up on another milestone here. On December 7th, along with being Pearl Harbor Day, that's also going to be the 10-year anniversary of the first video that I posted on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to this. I'm probably going to put together some sort of a montage video coming up to that with clips from various videos over the years. And then hopefully I'll be able to have a live stream on that night. And I would really like to hopefully open that up to anybody to come in and they can relate, like what their favorite video was they've seen on the channel, or what video brought them to the channel. I'd love to hear some of those stories, but that's what I'm looking for coming up on December the 7th. And it's hard to believe 10 years already that I've been doing this. And when I first started to post videos on YouTube, I didn't know if I was going to last 10 minutes, let alone 10 years. And thanks to all of you and all the great support and all the feedback and everything else, and for watching the videos and commenting on the videos and everything you all do. I'm still here. And I like to think that I've gotten a little bit better over the years. And let's see, where are we here? Katie Cowboy, can you get into legal issues using a tactical light on a pistol and using it to illuminate potential threats, essentially pointing a loaded gun at someone? Pointing a loaded gun at someone is not necessarily per se wrong. The circumstances all are going to determine whether or not that was a reasonable action. Obviously, if your door gets kicked in the middle of the night and you're bailing out of bed and you're trying to light up to see what's going on, that's not going to be an unreasonable action. If you are walking your dog at night or something like that down the sidewalk in a suburb and you're lighting up people walking down the sidewalk, that's another matter entirely. So whenever you get into issues like that, it is really hard to generalize, because it is so specific to the circumstances of an individual incident, which is why I worry so much. You hear people that they want to make categorical statements. If you do this or you do this or you do this, that's always going to be wrong. Or if you do that and you do that and you do that, it's always going to be right. And chances are there are going to be circumstances one way or the other where sometimes that might be permissible. It might be a reasonable action. Sometimes it might not be. It just all depends on the circumstances of that incident. Mark Nagel says, happy Thanksgiving. If we don't see you before then, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Josh Twyman, is it legal to carry a pistol while rifle or bow hunting in Ohio for self-defense? As a matter of fact, it is. That's written into the hunting regulations. And it used to say so long as you had a concealed handgun license, but that has changed recently, I think. In fact, I probably need to recheck the hunting regulations to see how that's stated now, because we went to constitutional carry this year. And I was just, it's odd you asked that, because I was just reading over the Ohio firearms sections earlier today, because I thought I really need to familiarize myself with the changes to the law that have taken effect since the constitutional carry came into being. And basically what Ohio did is they put a section in at the beginning of the law that says any qualifying adult, which is basically someone over 21 years of age that doesn't have a conviction that disqualifies them from carrying a firearm or possessing a firearm or whatever, but any qualifying adult has the same rights and responsibilities when carrying a concealed handgun as a concealed handgun licensee. And then all of the laws pertaining to licensees are still the same. So it just, they put that one thing in there, which for a change was a wise idea, instead of going through every single statute that has something to do with carrying a concealed firearm and changing that. But specifically with people that are bow hunting, I'm going to have to take a look at that, but I believe that's still going to be permissible. Weapon light is great for saying shoot here. Not if it's used right. And that's one thing. People a lot of times put lights on firearms and they really don't know how to use them properly in a tactical situation. I made a video a year or so ago talking about the old flashlight techniques that we used to use, and I got into some of that. And maybe I need to make another one and just talk a little bit more about that. You don't want to turn it on and leave it on. You want to use it intermittently to light an area either you're moving to or checking before you move to it or whatever, or a quick illumination of an individual or an area and then back off again. So you don't constantly have that target, if you will, that is right in front of your chest as you're holding a firearm. Rookie Spartan, and I just lost you. Found your channel with the M9 versus 1911 video. Fell in love with the LEO qualification series. Thank you. Can't wait. Well worth the plus P. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kurt Schmidt, we were going out tomorrow to shoot the M17 and Smith & Wesson 686. Good. Have a great time. Tony York, brandishing laws are like quicksand and stuff. Yeah, we don't have a brandishing per se law here in Ohio. We've got a law called menacing and one called aggravated menacing, which is to cause someone else to believe you're going to do physical harm or serious physical harm, depending on whether it's menacing or aggravated menacing, which would encompass that, but it's not brandishing. I think that's kind of vague, and I would want to look at the text to see exactly how those statutes are written before I commented too much more on those. Mr. Goldenrod, you're still on YouTube despite YouTube restrictions. Yes, shockingly, I'm still here. Rabbi Mr. Gold, he doesn't do it for the money. He does it for the hot chicks like Rachel. Yeah, Rachel. Tommy, wishing you and your family a blessed and happy Thanksgiving. Love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Tommy. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Bixby 9797, Mr. Funk, now that you've lived with and put some more rounds down range with your Israeli sidearm, any further thoughts on it? I assume you're talking about my Masada. I really like that pistol. In fact, I find myself carrying it more and more frequently. I used that at the training session I went to several weeks ago that was taught by some of the members of the Army Special Forces. I don't know how many rounds I put through it there, probably a couple of hundred. And every time I use that thing, every time I shoot it, I like it a little bit more. It's just a great, great firearm, great pistol. Rabbi, next up, we need HR Funk to start doing different police department pit maneuver. Nope, can't do that, especially not with the Jeep. No pit maneuvers with the Jeep. Katie Cowboy, any thoughts on Oregon 114? Let me know what that is. I know I've heard some hoopla out there regarding a change in their firearms law, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. So just kind of fill me in on that a little bit more. Rookie Spartan, do you mind talking about what you carried on duty, your duty belt while you worked as an LEO? What you think is most essential for an officer to carry? I carry different things depending on exactly what era. When I first started out as a military policeman, I had a sidearm, a radio, extra ammunition, and at that time we carried a PR-24 nightstick, and that was it. As the years went by and I was working with as a civilian police officer, we started carrying more flashlights. Eventually, we got pepper spray, we got tasers, things like that. uh, it gets to the point. In fact, I was in a courthouse just a couple of days ago, and there was a young deputy there who had, oh my Lord, I saw this duty belt, and I'm thinking it made my back hurt just looking at it. The holster was more of a bucket than a holster, with the sidearm and the flashlight and the optic, and then spare magazines and a great big taser with the extra cartridge on the end and ammunition. And I don't even know what all else was on that duty belt, but it just I thought it's getting to the point where it's kind of ridiculous. And a lot of the officers now have moved to the direction of the military with the external vests with the MOLLE attachment points, and you see a lot of that stuff hanging on the vest to get it off the duty belt, which actually makes some sense. That's what I was doing when I was working the private security gig up in Cleveland. I had a lot of that stuff on my tactical vest just so I didn't have to have it on my belt anymore, which also made it a lot nicer to access all those things when I was sitting, because I didn't have to try to reach down if I was in a car between a console or in a chair like this with arms and get anything out or what have you. It was up here. It was a lot more readily accessible. Rabbi says, rookie rubber gloves, most important thing on the belt. Kurt Schmidt, my pick for concealed carry is my Walther PPK 380. That's a good one. Good pistol. Elaine's Domain, what does a duty belt wear these days? I don't know about the belt itself. I can remember one time I weighed myself before I got dressed for work, and then I weighed myself after I was dressed for work with all, vest and belt and everything else on. And it weighed over 25 pounds at that time. I was probably even more weight than that at this juncture. Tony York, yeah, it's no wonder cops are pissed off these days with all. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. ALU Ministries in Texas is illegal to point a gun at anyone. Specifically says loaded or unloaded defense supersedes Article 1, Section 23 in Texas Constitution. All right, well, thank you for that. Roy Kiefer, Oregon 114, a referendum that will lead to statutes that is highly firearms restrictive. In my humble opinion, it will be reused unconstitutional based on Bruin. All right. And I knew it was something to do with firearms. I knew it was additional restrictions. I just didn't know specifically what it was. In 1990, they weighed about 30 pounds. Keith Horry, what was your favorite duty revolver to carry? I never carried a revolver. Well, I shouldn't say. I did carry a revolver a few times when I was chief of police, just as an option. But I was never issued a revolver early in my career. So my favorite revolver is a Smith & Wesson Model 66. But I only carried it, a few limited times when I was chief of police. I didn't carry it frequently. And it's funny because I was carrying my Model 66 one time, and I would get it out of the safe, but it would take more time than I want to. But I remember I was in the local elementary school walking through there, and the kids would see officers in there all the time carrying semi-autos and never thought a thing about it. But something about that stainless steel 66, and it got some nice wooden grips on it and stuff. The kids are like looking at it as I'm walking by and whispering to each other and pointing and everything else. For whatever reason, the younger kids in the elementary school thought that wheel gun was really cool. I don't know, maybe it reminded them of cowboy movies or something like that. Katie Cowboy, Oregon 114 requires a permit to purchase firearms. Applicants would need to complete safety training, pass criminal background check. The measure also prohibits magazines holding more than 10 rounds. Was it Oregon? I think it was Oregon, where I was watching something the other day where counties on the eastern side of the state want to secede from the western side and become part of, what is it, Idaho or something like that, because of the political differences. And I have a feeling that probably is among them. Did Oregon just become New Jersey? Ken Kaufman, turkey or ham? Turkey for me. Paul, a.k.a. Head Hog. My son-in-law is with law enforcement. They just went to a tactical vest. He is so happy because he hated all that weight on his belt. Yeah, I can understand that. Rich Powers says, HR, when you were in LEO, where did it go to? Bring it down here. Did you wear hard plate or soft body armor? It was always soft body armor during my career. And it got lighter and softer, I guess, as the years went by. Kurt Schmidt says, send me a link. Shoot me a email. If you send me an email to this email address that's going across down here, I will get you that link and you can join the show. Richie wears plates to bed when Mimi is mad. No, I don't. Kevin Sweeney, thanks for your videos on the Ruger American Hunter with the Magpul stock. Just picked one up for hunting. Good. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy mine. And just checking over here to make sure that I didn't get that email and not know it. But yeah, I like my American Hunter. And I don't see much about those. Once in a while, I'll see a reference to one. A lot of people seem to prefer them in the 6.5 chambering, but I like mine in 308. Good rifle, especially for the price. Greater Idaho. Okay. Thoughts on the Benelli M4? Never shot one. Looks like a cool shotgun, but I don't have any personal experience with it. That's chastity belt. Roy Kiefer says, yes, Eastern Oregon is very different from Portland and Salem. I gathered that, and I think that might be true in Washington State too. I think the western side of the state is a lot different, kind of like, Northern California is so much different than Southern California. It's just unfortunate that there is that divide in our country right now. It was hard armor. HR has abs of steel and guts. I don't know about all that. Mr. Goldenrod says Oregon 114 will be eventually declared unconstitutional. Well, we'll see. And all right, looks like a lot of you guys are talking to each other at this point. But still nothing in the email from anybody that wants to join. Just doing a little bit of clicking there to make sure that there's nothing stuck in the email system. I still don't have anything yet. Kevin Sweeney picked up a 669 from the Smoky Mountain Guns in Tennessee, shipped free to Pennsylvania. Cool. And those old miniguns, if you will, the 669, the 469, and eventually the 6904, 6906. Those are just great little firearms, and good that you got one. I hope you love it, and hope it works well for you. Keith Horry, thoughts on the Royal Canadian Mounted Police current sidearm Smith & Wesson 5946? Appreciate your feedback. I carried a 5943 for years. In fact, I have one behind me in the safe here. And I really, really like that pistol. Now, the one that this RCMP uses might have a steel frame. That's going to be a little bit heavier. But the 5943 was light. It was simple to use. All the things you hear people say about the Glocks, consistent trigger and all that, apply to the 5943. It's compact. It's just a great firearm. So I think the Mounties have a good pistol. I wasn't entirely sure they were still carrying that. For some reason, I was thinking they traded those in on Glocks. Democrats sell a lot of guns unintentionally. Yes, they do. Rich Powers, HR, what is the non-firing replicant? I'm glad you asked. I almost forgot. I'm sitting here talking and not thinking about that. The non-fire replica is a Charter Arms Boxer revolver. This is going to be reviewed in the very near future. It has similarities to the Colt Detective Special and the Smith & Wesson J-frames. So this is going to be coming in the very near future. Get a good look at it, but this is the non-firing replica for the evening. Rookie Spartan, one of the main companies, was actually declared illegal. Ironically, there's a new company, but their name forgets me. Carry permits are in New Jersey, so lots of kinks and changing rules. And the fact that New Jersey is in the sentence, that pretty much goes without saying. Ken Kaufman saw an all-white HP copy recently, was concerned about what? You lost me there, Ken. Command Center 10-8 for under $300. What are your thoughts on the Mossberg 88? I don't have any personal experience with them. Mossberg's a good brand name. For under $300, it'd be hard to go wrong. James Wilkinson thinking about stop being a FUD and stop being a, wait a second. Let's bring it over here. Thinking about stop being a FUD on 9mm, trying to decide between Beretta and SIG M18. What is your recommendation? Wow, you got two good ones there. And I don't know which specific model of Beretta you're talking about. As everybody knows, I'm a fan of the 92 series, and they've got some really good modern iterations of the 92. The Beretta APX that I had a week or so ago didn't do much for me. I really like my SIG M18, so I would say go and handle as many of them as you can. If you can shoot any of them, do so, and then see which one you think is going to work the best for you. Rabbi, what a beautiful non-firing replica. Well, thank you. Oh, by the way, that was provided by House of Pain Munitions. So this is another one that I'm able to get from them, which really, really helps me out because I get so many firearms from them that I would not otherwise be able to bring for all you guys to see and to be able to review. So thanks to them. And please, if you have anything, check their website, see if there's anything they might be able to do for you. And be sure to use my discount code if you go there. Scott Moore, first brand to come to mind when I say 1911 holster, probably Tagua these days. Those Tagua holsters that I got a while back to review, I really liked. And the 1911 holster, the one that I showed in the video that's kind of the brownish color is the 1911 holster that I've been using a lot lately with my 1911s. So that's the first one that comes to mind. The Imperial March played every time HR left his office at work. Probably played when I got there. The officers probably had it playing on the phone as I pulled into the parking lot. Got a couple of emails there. Let's see what these are quick. Question about the Ruger Mini 14 coming in on the email. All right. I owned a Ruger Mini 14 once upon a time, the standard carbine with the stainless steel receiver and barrel. Nice firearm, very reliable. The only thing I didn't care for with it is it was not quite as accurate as the AR style rifles, which is what I eventually traded it on, but perfectly functional, good firearm in its own right. Mark Becker is here. How do you, Mark? High power clone, Cerakoted white like a stormtrooper. And I'm trying to look down through here and see if there's a comment directed to me. So many of you guys are talking to each other, which is fine. But it's just looking for anything coming my way here. Do Oregon and New Jersey people just move to Texas, Oklahoma, and Ohio? Yep. That's the easiest thing to do is what did somebody say the other day? Vote with your feet and go to another state that's more free than where you're living. Rabbi, okay, got to drive now. Safety first. Good seeing y'all. Thanks for joining, Rabbi. Have a great evening, great weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow during the live chat. Rookie Spartan, what have you done with those plans? Mark Becker, have you lost more weight? I don't know. When I made the video, what's it been now, back in 2018, where I talked about my weight loss, and I said, I don't weigh myself. I really don't. I only concern myself with how I look and how my clothes fit. So the last time I was on a scale was when I went to a doctor's office a year or two ago. And at the time I was like, I don't know, 182 pounds or something like that. No idea what I weigh as of this moment. Majeski, what is the issue with the continued videos with SIG 320 self-firing? I haven't seen any of those for a long time. I know that was an issue early on with the military pistols. They allegedly corrected that very early on, and I've not heard anything about it since. So I don't know what the current status is, or if anybody's still making videos along those lines, or what might be going on. Just don't come here and vote like you did in California, Stan. Katie Cowboy, HR, your thoughts on PCCs? One guy's opinion was that if you have a rifle, it should be a rifle caliber. I like PCCs. I like them too. With the pistol caliber carbines for any kind of limited range, home defense, things like that, I think they're going to be fine. I don't want to be shot with one. You know, when you look at the ballistic advantage you get with the longer barrels of a carbine, and something, especially if it's like a 357 or even a 9mm. 9mm, by the time it leaves a 16-inch barrel or so, is zooming along at a pretty good clip. So I like them. They're very controllable. They're easy for a lot of other family members to deal with. They don't have a lot of recoil. I don't have a problem with them. For different applications, like say law enforcement or definitely the military, I would say, yeah, you want a rifle cartridge. But for your average home defense or your average civilian defending themselves, I think the pistol caliber carbine is fine. Rookie Spartan, I can't move, so it's time to reenact the Alamo here in New Jersey. And just trying to catch up here. Roy Kiefer, what is your preferred 38 Special Plus P for defensive applications in a 2 or 4-inch barrel revolver? Good question. I think it's still made. I still have some of it. The Spear 135 grain Plus P load that was made specifically for short barrel revolvers. It's got the bigger hollow cavity, so you get better expansion at the lower velocities out of the short barrels. Plus, it had a faster burning powder to try to bump up the velocity in those short barrels. I just thought that was very good. It was formulated specifically for those short barrels. And if you can still get some of those, that's what I'd recommend for those type of firearms or those type of revolvers. Tony York got a 440 Magnum, does as well as a few rifle calibers. Yeah, I've talked about that before. I've killed several deer with the 44 Magnum, and it is a tremendous cartridge. And out of a carbine, it's even that much more effective. Majetski says, okay, thanks. Have a P320 with corrected upgrade. This just jumped. There it is. Always concerned with safety of the pistol for myself and others. Okay. Okay, here we go. Rookie Spartan, HR, do the women in your life, Rachel included, have a favorite firearm? Wanting to use my last pistol permit on something for a woman who's new to firearms and recoil sensitive. Mimi has several firearms. I would have to ask her what her favorite is. She's got a Smith & Wesson 380 Bodyguard that she likes. She's got a couple of 22s. She's now got an AR of her own. I'll have to ask her. She's not home right now, but I'll have to ask her what her favorite firearm is. Kurt Schmidt, your opinion on the IMI Desert Eagle 44 Magnum. I've never shot one. I've only handled them, and they are so heavy and ungainly that I just never particularly cared for them. So I can't tell you much more about them beyond that. By the way, what are we up to here? 51 minutes. Probably take this to an hour. So we got about 8.5 minutes left for anybody to get in your last minute comments and questions here. Alaska Andy, good evening to you. ALU Ministries, just a question about short-barreled handgun. I think it's supposed to be, does plus P have time to be much of an improvement in speeds, downrange, energies? Depends on what specific load it is. If it's loaded with fast enough burning powder, then yes, it's going to get decent velocity even out of the short barrels. But if it's slow burning powder, no, you're going to probably end up with a big fireball in front of the muzzle, but it's not going to do much to increase the velocity. 18 wins again, says, happy Thanksgiving, Sir Funk. Thought was going to practice with my 4570, but 16 degrees now. And yeah, I know what you mean. I keep wanting to get out to the range. I was thinking about going out there today, and I'm looking out the window and watching it snow and looked at the temperature. And I thought, maybe I'll wait. It's supposed to warm up at the beginning of next week. I'll be running through the woods. This is from Mark Becker. I'll be running through the woods soon after deer in a few weeks. Best 44 Magnum load for a carbine or for a Marlin. I don't use factory loads in my 44 mags. I always use hand loads, so I can't really give you a great option. I always like the 240 grain bullets. Usually the Hornady XTPs is what I use in my hand loads, and I load them up to a max velocity. I'm getting 1,650 feet per second or something like that out of my Marlin 1894. So that's what I use, but I can't really direct you toward a good factory load. Sorry. KD Cowboy, any special beverages you have for Thanksgiving? As a matter of fact, yes. I just we have a local distillery that's probably 10 miles away, and they produce a cinnamon whiskey there, and I got a bottle of that yesterday. I've not opened it up yet, but that's always nice to have around the holidays. It's very good, very tasty. So I got some of that. That's our holiday beverage around this place. Rookie Spartan, thank you. Always thinking about getting a 380, but I'm on the fence about its effectiveness. Wait a second. I think it's supposed to be, is the 380 an effective cartridge, or should I train for larger calibers? I would say figure out what she can shoot well first. That's first and foremost what you need to concern yourself with. Whatever she can control, if it's a 22, if she can control it and put bullets effectively on target, that's the primary concern. Despite what you see and internet lore and everything else, nobody wants to be shot with anything. And the vast majority of people are going to lose interest in harming someone if a firearm is just produced, let alone if they stop a bullet or two. So I would say first determine what she's able to shoot well. If it's a 380 and she can control it, great, go with that. If she's able to control a 9mm and you can step up the power a little bit, then start to look at some of the 9mm. But first, figure out what she's comfortable with. If she doesn't like semi-autos and she's more comfortable with a revolver, go that direction. Don't try to come up with something that's not going to fit her, because she's not going to be able to apply that as effectively as she is some other option that she's more comfortable with. Majeski, one of the easiest 45 ACPs pistols to shoot with my M&P Shield. Thought recoil would be more than a 1911, very, very manageable. Yeah, I shot a Shield 45 a while back, and it was surprisingly soft shooting. And I think it's because of the recoil system they have in there. And Tony York is sharing some hand loading secrets there. Looks like some a Monk 93 is as well. Elaine's Domain says his wife packs a J frame, but he prefers the K frame. Can't go wrong either way, I don't think. Tony York, 38 Special was the Copper's round of choice for years. Yes, it was. All right. And it looks like the comments are starting to slow down here, so I am going to start to wrap things up. Thank you all for joining, as always. Like I said earlier on in the show, I was really looking forward to this evening. And it's great that we had so many here. I have no idea how many people are even here. It looks like we got 47 right at the moment, so that's extremely cool. I hope you all have a great, great weekend. Again, don't forget, tomorrow we've got the 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time video premiere. The live chat will be going along with that. Again, next week's video, just to remind everyone, is going to be on Tuesday morning instead of Wednesday morning, and there may not be a Saturday video next week just because of the holiday and traveling and everything else. So again, thank you all. Thank you for being viewers to my channel. Thank you for participating in the live stream. To my channel members and all you do to support the channel, I appreciate you more than you could ever know. We will do this again. Like I said, December the 7th is going to be my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. And I'm really looking forward to having kind of a special evening that time. So I'm going to put together a video for that and probably have a live stream that immediately follows the video on December 7th. So again, everyone have a great weekend. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.